So my thinking is that it's got to come in the generations coming through the communities and for families, because I think what has to happen for me is that young men and young women need to see the generation that is involved in gender-based violence saying to themselves, I'm not going to do this when I am an adult, because I see the damage it's caused. I see the damage it's caused to me, and that there is a way that they can break that cycle if they just refuse to repeat the cycle going forward. So for me, I think that's where it's going to start. How that'll be done is a mammoth task, but I do think it can be done by significant influencers in their lives, like, you know, artists, musicians, and I think the more it speaks about, people do speak about it, the better it'll be. I think that's, to me, that's how this is going to change. Is a young man will hear an influencer say it's not cool, and then to be cool, you don't do it. And then as you grow up, you refuse to do what your parent has done, parents are doing, uncles, aunts, whoever's the abuser or being abused, you just will not perpetuate it into the generations to come and in your adult life. Well, I think the main inspirational woman for me has probably been my mother. She passed away many, many, many years ago, but now as an adult, when I look back on my life in her home, I can see how she struggled and what she did for it. And she was a victim of domestic violence in a very bad way. I was a victim of domestic violence at the time. So if I look at her now as an adult and see how she must have struggled and suffered, is just, for me, such a gift she gave me, because she has allowed me as well, like I have said, not to allow the repetitive behavior of how I grew up and how the home that she unfortunately found herself in. But she did an incredible job in her time that she was alive, and I admire her so much, and she's my significant woman in my life. I understand that there's multiple times when they have no control, and they are true victims of it. But I do think that taking yourself out of being a victim in your mind allows you to decide that you will never victimize and that you never want to be a victim again. And so I think she taught me that. I think she, in her own way, she did move away from the violence. She took us out of the violence, and it cost her a lot. It cost her financially. It cost us financially. We grew up remarkably without, but she never made us feel that way. And I think her strength of refusing to be the victim in her mind allowed us to not, because none of my family have perpetuated that violence. My brothers, in our family, I know my sons would never do such a thing. It's just they themselves are outspoken about it. So I think that's what you do. I think that's how it changed, is that somehow you decide that you don't have to, in your mental state, be the victim. You know, there's got to be ways to fight back. There's got to be ways to argue it out. There's got to be ways to seek for help for your children, because I think that's the tough part, is when a woman is being abused, her children see, and at times the children are also abused, and I think you've got to find a way as a woman somehow to take yourself out of that. And I know that more and more initiatives are coming through now to assist and help women to remove themselves from that abusive cycle. And yes, it's going to cost something, but the price is worth it. It's priceless to remove your children and yourself from a situation like that.